Hi everybody, my name is Matt and welcome to Matt and Barry Go to the American Banjo Camp. So every year in September, my friend Barry Luft and I take a road trip from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, down to Washington State to participate in a weekend of banjo classes and workshops. Now I'll be making another video focused just on the camp a little later, but this video is focused on the road trip. Previously I had made, oh that's me, you can see my name's all there and everything, there's my nice hat. Like I was saying before, I had made a previous video in 2015 about me going by myself down to the American Banjo Camp, but the location of Banjo Camp has changed in the last few years, and so I'm making a new video. Anyway, here's Barry. I just picked him up at his house here, and there he is in all his glory, and there's both of our beards. As you can see, I'm trying to get my beard as white as his, so it looks pretty good. Anyway, after picking up Barry from his house, we travel through rural Alberta, and right now we're passing by the town of Frank. If you're ever up in Alberta, going to the Frank Slide Interpretive Center is a lot of fun. Anyway, the whole trip is 729 miles or 1,186 kilometers, so we do split the trip up over 2 days. So here we are stopping at in Crow's Nest Pass, grabbing the last Tim Hortons before we hit British Columbia. And some of you may or may not know, Alberta's right on the border of British Columbia, and there we are. Sparwood has this giant truck there that you can visit and take pictures with and that sort of thing. And so here we are stopping in Cranbrook for lunch, having some tacos on the way down. So as I mentioned, we split it up over 2 days. We do most of our driving on day one and then take our time on day two. So here we are across the border into the United States, into Idaho, and we decided to gas up here just outside of Bonner's Ferry. And I had to take a little video of this because I haven't seen one of these old-timey gas pumps in a long time, so it was kind of fun. I also seem to enjoy taking video of bridges, so you'll see a lot of bridges in this video as well. Anyway, Barry is a really good traveling companion. We take turns, well here he is having a little nap there, but we take turns driving, and the non-driver has the job of navigating and keeping the other driver awake. I guess not in that case. But you know, we love to talk about music, politics, religion, stories from our lives that happened over the past year. And usually if I have to pull over to pee, Barry has to go as well, so because our cycles are so synchronized on these trips. Anyway, as you can see, we went over Sandpoint there. So we do most of the traveling the first day. So the first leg of the trip usually takes about 10 hours. It's 514 miles or 841 kilometers. And here we're approaching Spokane. As you can see, all the many exits that are there on the signs. And there's Spokane there on the right. So Spokane's not a bad place to stop. We could do that, but we always want to just push it a little farther. So we go off to Moses Lake, is usually where we've stayed the night in the past. Man, unfortunately, we've had a lot of bad experiences in Moses Lake with their motels so far, but this past one was actually pretty good. Oh, look, Emo Phillips. Barry and I are huge Emo Phillips fans, and it wouldn't be a road trip with Barry without listening to Emo Phillips over and over. We've memorized his jokes, but we still listen to it every time we go down. So a lot of fun. So yeah, bad track record on the hotels in Moses Lake, but we found a good one at the Sure State Plus, run by Best Western just off the highway there. This is the first time we've actually had a really good thing. Oh, and of course we've arrived in Moses Lake there, so of course we have to take in a restaurant, and we love Mexican restaurants in the United States. I don't know what it is, but Mexican restaurants in Canada just aren't the same. Mexican restaurants in the States are much better, so we enjoy some Mexican food down here. And there's the most American sunset I've ever seen. Anyway, here's our hotel room. It's really nice. And before we go to bed, we usually practice our banjos. We bring them out, practice the songs that we're going to play at the student concert, that sort of thing. Here's Barry's. It should be coming up here in just a second. Anyway, now it's time for bed with my Ghostbuster pajamas, and anyway, we'll see you guys in the morning. Oh, forgot to turn off the light. Good morning. Well, we're still in Moses Lake for day 2 of our trip. Anyway, on day 2, Barry and I travel from Moses Lake to Port Orchard, Washington, which is 217 miles or 349 kilometers. It takes us about 3.5 hours, so it's more of a relaxed trip. We pull over often to look at the vistas and views. We don't have to wake up too early or rush out of the hotel, so we can take our time. So here we are just overlooking this valley just before Vantage, Washington. Last year we couldn't see the other side of this canyon because of the forest fires that were happening in British Columbia and Washington and California. It was a really smoky trip, and it was a really terrible for views. So we're pretty lucky this time around. There were still some forest fires, but not enough that it was obstructing our view of anything. So we're crossing the bridge here to get to Vantage, Washington. And on the way home, we usually stop in Vantage for milkshakes at this burger place. It's just off to the right a little there. If you've gone through, you'll know the one I'm talking about. Anyway, now we're approaching the mountains, so we get some really nice views. Anyway, let me tell you more about the American Banjo Camp that we're going to. The American Banjo Camp's been presenting a yearly bluegrass and old-time 5-string banjo workshop since 2003. And over the years, the curriculum has expanded to also include guitar, fiddle, bass, jamming, some ukulele, mandolin, and other classes along the way. Now, Barry's been going to this camp since 2005, I understand. Now, he did miss once, but we forgive him for that, if you'll forgive me for missing twice since I started going in 2008. Barry and I haven't always gone down together. We've gone down with other people at times, but in the end we seem to always pair up and go down, at least in the recent years here. Oh, it looks like we've reached Tacoma, so Tacoma's really close. We're getting there. It's really nice to go to camp. You meet the same people and as well new people over and over again, and it's kind of like coming home to family. The organizers, Peter and Ken, and Janet, of course, are always friendly and inviting, and it's just always nice to come back, even though the location's changed recently. And here it is, Pilgrim Firs Camp and Retreat Center is the new location, just outside of Port Orchard. And here the excitement's building. We're pulling into the parking lot. As you can see, we're surrounded by forest and beautiful trees, and there's a bit of a lake. So getting ready to pull out our banjos and start playing in the woods. So just parking the car here. Anyway, thanks for listening to me rattle on during this video. The next video will be more about what's going on in the American Banjo Camp. So thanks for listening, and I hope to see you at the next video.